I thought 497 was too expensive at the time when I first started doing this. So I have a $5,000 program. I'd never done anything like that before, but I was excited. I was really excited.
If you don't mind, like, what's your revenue and business looking like right now? Like overall since working with us?
500,000.
Oh, okay. Straight up. Nice.
Hey, welcome back to the series where we're interviewing some of our successful clients so you can learn from their journey of launching and scaling their own coaching business. Today, we're interviewing Lisa. She is amazing. When she came to us, she had an online course, but was not making sales. She was working so many hours. She was posting aimlessly online, doing lead magnets, doing all sorts of stuff. The marketing wasn't working. We helped her reposition her offer, restructure her marketing. She's now done over $500,000 online. It's one thing to learn from me. It's another thing to learn from our successful students like Lisa, and she's going to take you under the hood of her business and share with you what has worked and how she has done it. Pete behind the camera conducted this interview. I'm going to roll straight into it right now.
First thing I'd really like to know, just to kind of like start it off, is kind of like, the show's called Big Wins. So I wonder, what is that big win for you? Where are you right now? And what would you say your big win is from working with us, our clients?
I'd say it's a couple of things. One is obviously financial. I've been able to, earn more through this process of bringing in clients than I probably would have ever dreamt of. And I know I'm only still just, scraping the surface of the full potential of what's ahead of me. So that's one thing, is financial. And the other thing, lifestyle, for sure. Being able to have more time to be more working from home, and to be more present with my family. And that's a big one.
Awesome. So for people who don't know you then, how have you managed to achieve it? What is your business?
Okay, so I work with entrepreneurs, executives, C-suite people, anybody who has to deliver a message, and that message needs to be impactful, but they're struggling to somehow make it interesting. And so not so much what you say, but how you say it is going to create the connection to your potential customers, to your audience, in your meetings, to your senior boss. If you're speaking really boring all the time and you haven't got a flat line, you've got a monotone, then you're not going to be able to attract people or connect with people. So I help people to tune their instrument.
Amazing. So you essentially at the beginning started out similar to like a vocal coach in a way, didn't you? And it's in the beginning, and now it's kind of taken a slightly different turn to like more delivering the message. So what was your business like before you started implementing like our kind of processes, and what were the big problems that you saw in your business that you were hoping to fix?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was really struggling to have clients, because I was booked solid. I was working a 6-day week, and it was really difficult to get a time slot with me. And I kind of thought at that time that the busier you are, the more successful you are. But I've now changed my whole tune on that. So it was, as I said, I was working crazy hours, but that was the problem. That was one of the things I really needed to fix, was to get more time back, to be more selective, perhaps who I took on, and have a smarter way to work with people.
So you found your business probably was at a ceiling, right? Like
exactly.
You didn't have any more hours in the day to make more money or anything like that.
Yeah, the only solution was to either increase prices or to consider taking on another coach who would work under me. But I just thought that will be a headache, and it's hard to train somebody who's going to get to that same level or have the same level of coaching and style of coaching that you have. So that was always going to be a difficulty. And I knew there was a better way. And before I met John, I had already created an online course. I had this idea, I'd seen other people doing it, and I wanted to have that passive style income as well. So teaching people the techniques, teaching people how to assess their own voices, make changes, but without much or very little connection with me. They could do it through an online program. So I'd already created a program, but I had no idea what to do with it then. I didn't know how to get it out to people. I had a list of a couple of thousand, and I wasn't growing that very fast. It was a really slow process. As people would come to my website, they could subscribe for a newsletter, or some updates, something, you know, a little lead magnet I might have had, but I didn't really know what I was doing with those either.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's where I was stuck. I'm distracted.
No, yeah, for sure. So it's interesting. You tried lead magnets before. You tried you put people on your list and things like that. I wonder, firstly, what other things did you try before that just didn't work? And also kind of hand in hand with that is, why don't you think those things really worked for you at the time?
Because they're very slow growth, and you're not putting yourself in front of the people who need your services, which is what I've learned now. It's really people who are just happen to be searching. Yes, they may be a good candidate because they've come across your website, so therefore they've signed up for something, but it's a really slow growth. I was trying, I had a YouTube channel that I was posting to regularly and trying to grow that, until then all of a sudden YouTube said, we're not going to monetize anymore. And I kind of lost my incentive to keep pumping into that. And that was a lot of work. You had to do it regularly, posting on social media, those kinds of things to try to grow your brand as well, and get more visibility and establish your name.
I guess you probably didn't even have time to do that, like as well, because if you were booked out all day, you had no room to spare even an extra hour for another client. Well, how on earth are you meant to find the time to also then constantly be posting on YouTube and Instagram and all the other social medias as well?
Yeah, exactly.
So time was the biggest one for you then. It wasn't necessarily financial, although it's nice to have the financial goal. You found that time was the biggest.
It was very financial as well.
Okay,
Don't get me wrong. It was financial, because I was in a situation where my husband had resigned from his job. He called me up one day and he said, I just resigned. And my heart sank, because when you're living as an expat, the company pays for almost everything: your schooling, your housing allowances, your car, your health insurance, all these main commodity, really important, expensive things in your lifestyle. They were covered predominantly by the company. So when he said I've resigned, then all of a sudden my business now became the sole provider. Provider. That's what I'm looking for. Exactly. Yeah. And so there was a lot of pressure on me. And with the one-on-one coaching, that was really difficult to bring in enough to be able to cover our lifestyle in Dubai. So we were almost at a point, well, what do we do next? Do we stay? Can we stay? Until I came across this whole new journey.
And so a lot of people are in the get to similar points in their lives that you probably were at then. It's kind of just I have this business, which is great at the moment, but it's not enough for what I need right now, especially if something big happens in your life. For example, your husband resigning and stuff like that, which is great, but also it kind of puts you on edge. You're stuck, pulled in different directions. You're not sure what to do. And I wonder for anyone watching this who's probably also at a similar point where they're just it's either all or nothing. What advice would you give? I mean, I'm guessing by the sounds of your story and how much I know you were all in. But what was that like for you? Was it a difficult choice to make, to go all in? Was there a mindset change that you needed to have in order to really just dive in head first?
It was scary. It was scary because it was not a small commitment or a small investment. But it was an investment, and I had to consider it to be an investment into a change. And I'm a firm believer, if you're not prepared to step yourself outside your comfort zone to do something different, then you're always going to stay exactly where you are. So that would be my advice to anybody, is to take a leap of faith and put yourself outside your comfort zone in anything that you want to grow in and make a change. You have to do that. Awesome. And that might also be investing financially, but in the knowledge that it's going to pay back.
Yeah, of course. Otherwise you lose that opportunity cost, then or you have the worry of that. So you've obviously been working with us now for a while. But at the beginning of working with us, what kind of drew you to working with our clients, with John in the beginning? I know that you'd seen John speak before and you'd met John a few times and things like that. But yeah, talk me through the process of why you actually have ended up investing in coaching with us, and why you were driven to do that.
Well, I said I already had a course ready and I had no idea what to do with it. and I attended an event here in Dubai where John was speaking, and his message just hit for me. Of all the other speakers that were there, it was John's message that really connected with me, and I knew this was exactly what I needed to get my product in front of the right people, to start to grow more in this passive style of income that I wanted to develop, and to free up my time to do the things that I was good at and work with the people I really wanted to work with.
And so had you tried other coaches before in the past? Because obviously sometimes it's quite daunting to pay a coach some money, especially when it's not a small amount of money, and can be even more daunting if you've had coaches before and haven't seen things from it. So had you tried coaching before?
I hadn't really worked with anybody in this level before, but at that particular event, I ended up signing up for several others. And I can say of all the people that I did sign up for, John's program is the only one that shone afterwards that, you know, I continued to work with. He's the only one that I then did continue to work with for the long term. Okay.
And is that because you started seeing results quite quickly while working with us? Okay.
100%.
And so can we talk about that a little bit then? Kind of like, what was the process like at the beginning, creating, because I'm guessing you had your course before, but obviously the whole thing is you didn't know how to get it out there or where to find the right people. So I'm guessing you created your webinar, you paid ads, and you paid them together. What was it like? What had you done that before? And if not, what was the process like of just diving in with that?
I'd never done anything like that before, but I was excited. I was really excited. And at that particular event, you know, we just were about to go into COVID. So everyone went into lockdown the week after that event. And so anything that we really did sign up for, it took us a long time before we were able to get the in-person training that we were supposedly going to get. But what we did get was a course from John, and I was able to access that instantly. And I did. I started working through one of his older courses that he'd given us access to. And that was all about the webinars, how to create a webinar. So I put it all into practice, and I started delivering live webinars. My first 4 or 5 webinars were live. And in my first webinar, I made my first sales.
That's so
exciting. I knew the process was going to work.
Okay, and cool. So, and then you eventually paired that with paid ads, right?
That was with paid ads, yeah.
That was with paid ads. So what was it like running paid ads? Because I know that's daunting for a lot of people. Like, you're already paying for coaching, and then you also have to pay for some ad spend. Like, what kind of was that like for you? Was it hard to wrap your head around?
It was a little bit nerve-wracking, but I had been doing paid ads in Google search ads always, but to my website. I never understood things like conversion tags and setting things up so you could really track the people that would be coming in, and you could potentially remarket to these people. I had none of those systems in place. So that was, I guess, really eye-opening, exciting, because now I realized that when I was spending money on my ads, that I could see results, I could get data, and I would be able to use that again and again and again.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you created this process, but at any point along the way of creating a webinar that you'd never done before, running a new kind of ads and kind of just putting the whole system together, be honest, was there anything where you were just like, that was so difficult? Like, you found it hard and you struggled to wrap your head around, because it's not easy building an automated business which brings in customers kind of. So was there anything that you kind of thought was a real struggle and a hurdle that you had to jump over?
I'm sure there were moments when I was tearing my hair out and cursing and swearing that things wouldn't work, or I couldn't move things around on my landing pages, or, you know, anything like that. And I'm sure for some people it may come across as being daunting, but because it's so well structured in a step-by-step process, you really can't mess up. You can't go wrong if you just stay focused and get it done. Yeah.
No, it's a good way of putting it. Just implement. Don't try and beat around it. Don't try and skip halfway through. Don't start from the beginning and go to the end. If it's a proven process, then more often than not, it's going to work.
And I think that's a really important point, to make sure that you do go through every step, because some people might come in and think, oh yeah, but I already know how to do this, or I've done this, so I could skip this part. But if you do, you might be skipping a really important part of that process, and that could mess everything up.
100%. So once you created your webinar, you got your ads out there, how long did it roughly take you to get all of that together? Like, what was the time period?
I guess about 3 weeks.
3 weeks? Wow. Oh, you did move fast.
I did.
And
I did. Or maybe 3-4 weeks. I was running my first webinar.
About a month.
Yeah.
So from starting and then a month in, and then on your first webinar, you managed to make a sale of how much?
I made 3 sales of $497.
Amazing. Okay, so $497. And one big thing we talk about, obviously, with our coaching and stuff like that, is increasing your prices and having more like higher ticket things to offer. Have you started moving down that direction as well?
Well and truly.
Okay, talk to me about that. I'd love to hear about kind of $497 for me. Instantly, I was like, I'm pretty sure you're charging a bit more than that right now. So I'd love to hear what changed to get you from spending to selling $497 on a webinar to however much you're selling now.
I guess changing your whole mindset about how you value yourself. That's one thing that has been so valuable that John has taught us, that you've all instilled into me. And so when I thought $497 was too expensive at the time when I first started doing this. And now I realize, it's what it's worth to the other person. What is it going to be worth them to get that result? And my expertise is something very unique as well. So I have now 2 different offers. I have a $5,000 program, which is reserved for more senior people. You really have to have an interview with me. We have to find out, is this going to be the right program for you?
Yeah. That way you get to work with people you like as well. That's
right. And then I have a lower level program, which doesn't include so much time with me, which is priced at $1,497.
Amazing. And that's probably, I'm guessing that is closer to what you were selling at the beginning, the $497. So you kind of tripled how much it was actually worth in the beginning. And is that with adding more stuff? Because I think one thing that we come across a lot is clients coming to us saying, or charging around the $497, the $500 mark. And as soon as we say, no, put that up to 2, put that up to 1,500, it's like, but now I need to make more stuff. Now I need to do so much more work and put that in there to even make it to that. So is that including more stuff, or I'm guessing not so much? And I'd just love you to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that would be the case as well. And I had created another course, which I was charging at $997 in between all of this. Cool. Slightly different focus. So what I did was I bundled those 2 courses together. They were already created, and that became both my $1,497 offer and my $5,000 offer. The difference with the $5,000 offer is that people get more personalized coaching with me in addition.
Amazing. Okay, cool. That sounds great. So now we've talked about kind of where you've managed to get to the point. Like, so we talked about where you were, talked about creating your first webinar, making 3 sales within the first month of running this, and then increasing your prices. So if you don't mind, like, what's your revenue and business looking like right now? Like overall since working with us?
500,000.
Oh, okay. Straight up. Nice. I can see you've got
give or take, but it's pretty much that mid-level. Yeah.
Amazing. And that's 500,000 over the space of how long?
That would be 2 years now.
2 years. Amazing. Amazing. And did you ever think that was possible for your business back when, because obviously you're working less and making 500,000, like, did you ever think that was possible back before when you were pulling your hair out, working every hour of every single day?
No, I guess the answer is no.
But you must have thought that there was a way. Otherwise, you wouldn't have kind of moved in that direction.
Yeah, I guess I had aspirations. I had, goals that I wanted to build on the name, build on the brand. And the hope was that with that could come more financial reward. But as we talked about, I was still stuck. The amount of hours I had, my income still had that cap, that ceiling, and I was undervaluing myself as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a big one. So many people are doing the same thing. So you're at a point now, your business has made nearly $500,000 over those 2 years. What's changed? And we talked about at the beginning, one of your big wins was the financial and the lifestyle. So what has changed in your lifestyle? Obviously you're working less, but what else has it managed to do for you as a business owner and as just a family person? What else has it been able to do for you to actually now have that income level?
It's allowed me to be much more selective when I work and with whom I work. As I mentioned earlier, I was I was working in my, I have an office in downtown Dubai, and I was going into that office, which is a 1.5 hour commute, 6 days a week, one to 1.5 hours each way to get in and out. And now I limit it to only 1 day a week that I'm available for in-person coaching. If you're not available that day, you can meet me for an online.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. Like just cut out 5 days of traveling in your week.
Yeah. And it's also enabled me to work with people all around the globe. Whereas previously I was limited to people who are only in my geographical area. And that's been a change. I never thought you could coach voice through the internet. I didn't believe that until I started on this journey.
That's a good point. I would have thought, that's probably quite a common thing. I hadn't thought about just then, but now probably quite a common thing. A lot of people thinking it's not possible to do what I do online.
It's extremely possible.
Yeah. We'll kind of wrap it up here, but kind of looking back at your journey, is there any advice that you would give to entrepreneurs, maybe who have a course already or don't, or have a business where they're just kind of completely booked out? Like any advice for someone who would want to be where you are right now?
Yeah. I said it before, take a leap of faith, open up your eyes to new possibilities, and just do it.
Awesome. Well, couldn't have said
Nike,
it.
Isn't that the Nike model? Just do it.
That's why it's so catchy. Thank you so much for your time, Lisa. I really do appreciate you hanging out and chatting with me this morning or your afternoon.
It's an absolute pleasure.
All right. Wonderful. Lovely. I'll speak to you soon. All right.
Okay.
See you later. Bye. Bye.